What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I'd like to talk about star pass rusher Trey Hendrickson and will Trey Hendrickson be signed by our Atlanta Falcons? But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content or NFL content. If you'd like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. If you'd like to be a part of my Jew Talk Sports membership, you can hit that join tab here on the channel as well. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So as I mentioned in today's video, I do want to talk about Trey Hendrickson and will the Atlanta Falcons sign Trey Hendrickson in free agency? Personally, I don't think that the Falcons are going to be able to trade for Trey Hendrickson or sign him in free agency due to our cap number right now. The first thing that the Falcons have to do is get under the cap, which they haven't done yet. And I expect us to get under the cap. I've said numerous times on my videos, I'm not a cap specialist. And you see teams like the Philadelphia Eagles and Howie Roseman, it seems like he knows how to work the books, cook the books, and move money around. He knows how to make the proper moves to get big time players. But the Falcons haven't shown that over the last couple years or throughout our history that we know how to manipulate the cap and things of that nature. So as much as I would like to see Trey Hendrickson on the Atlanta Falcons roster, I really don't think that the Falcons have the money right now to make him the highest paid D lineman in the league. Being that Max Crosby just signed that $100 million deal with the Las Vegas Raiders, with them extending his contract. The rumors out there are that Trey Hendrickson of the Cincinnati Bengals wants to be the highest paid defensive player in the league and the highest paid defensive end in the league. So if he's looking at a contract of over $30 million a year, I don't think that the Falcons are going to be able to swing that. Now, of course, like I stated, it's not impossible because I've seen GMs, like I said, Howie Roseman, the Eagles, move money around, put a bunch of void years and things of that nature on these players' contracts, push all of the money, up front or towards the back of the contract to manipulate, restructure some contracts to fit in, one of those big splash signings. But personally, I don't see it happening for the Atlanta Falcons. Trey Hendrickson is one of those guys, if we're able to pull it off, that I would love to have on our roster. He's a name that I've stated numerous times over the years as one of the best pass rushers in the league. He's led the league in sacks the last 2 seasons. Last season with Cincinnati, he had 17 and a half sacks on the year. He is a guy who can get you double-digit sacks pretty much every single season. And he has played with Jesse Bates, who's our safety, our star safety. He played with Jesse Bates in Cincinnati. So maybe Jesse Bates can try to, lure him to Atlanta and try to recruit him. But I really don't feel like the Atlanta Falcons at this point are going to be able to get this deal done. Now, do I think that Trey Hendrickson is a guy that the Falcons have to have or that they need to have a good pass rush? No. I consistently have said that the Falcons have to start addressing the pass rush situation earlier on in these drafts. With these first and second round draft picks, the Falcons have to put more value on bringing in these top pass rushers. And I've talked about this during live shows and things of that nature, that if you look around the league, the most of the premier pass rushers in the league are drafted, into the league. If you look at Max Crosby of the Las Vegas Raiders that just signed that big deal, he was drafted there. If you look at the Von Millers of the world when he was with Denver, when you look at TJ Watt, who's currently a Pittsburgh Steeler, he was drafted there. When Aaron Donald came in the league, he was drafted by the LA Rams. So usually those big name pass rushers, those big time stars, usually are drafted. And I really feel like the Atlanta Falcons in this draft, we have no excuse not to come away with multiple pass rushers. This is a draft, I think, that has a lot of talent. And then when you look at the free agency pool right now, it's littered with pass rushers. You got guys like Harold Landry that was released by the Tennessee Titans. You have Jonathan Allen at that defensive tackle position where you can get a premier guy that's good at stopping the run. He's a true defensive tackle, a guy that can be the anchor on your defense. And those are just a few names, but it's a lot of guys out there right now. If you go look at the free agency pool, it's a number of pass rushers in this draft in this draft and in this free agency pool. So the Falcons should be able to still come out with some decent players. Even if they're not able to sign Trey Hendrickson, they still can possibly bring back Matthew Judon, which I think Matthew Judon is still has something left in the tank. I don't believe that he's washed. I really feel like it was the scheme last year of why Judon didn't play up to his full potential, because he was dropping into coverage way too much last year. And then the scheme of us playing, 7 to 8 yards off the ball as far as our cornerbacks, where quarterbacks could just throw quick hitches and throw bubble screens and throw screen passes. When you do things like that in your scheme, you make it hard for your defensive linemen to get pass rush and to get their numbers. So I do believe, like I said, that Trey Hendrickson would be a long shot. I really don't see that happening, but it could happen. Now, am I praying that it does happen? I do, because I think he's a top 3 pass rusher in the game. You can argue that Trey Hendrickson has been the best pass rusher over the last 2 to 3 years, but I really don't see it happening for the Atlanta Falcons. If they want to go out and build a pass rush, they may have to do it by bringing back some of the guys that they have, or going out and bringing in some of these guys on cheaper deals, like a Harold Landry that's currently out there, like a Jonathan Allen, and then possibly still drafting with that first round pick another pass rusher. So I would double dip in this draft. I would get a guy in free agency, whether it's bringing back Matthew Judon, whether it's adding another guy that they feels that fits the scheme better here in Atlanta on the edge in free agency. And then I would topple that with bringing in, with that first round pick at number 15, I would bring in another pass rusher. So at that point, you're building, as I always talk about, strength in numbers. Now you'll have Arnold Ebiketie. You'll have that first round draft pick of whichever pass rusher they like out this draft. Then you'll possibly bring back a Matthew Judon and add a Harold Landry to this pass rush. And then you still have Braylon Trice, who you drafted last year that you haven't seen. You'll have Aruka Roro in his second year, who showed flashes. You still have Grady Jarrett on this roster. So you'll have a rotation of guys that can actually get you some pass rush and things of that nature and stop the run. So with that being said, you guys give me your thoughts on Trey Hendrickson. Do you believe that he's going to be an Atlanta Falcon? And what's your thoughts on the Atlanta Falcons pass rush? What do you feel like the Falcons need to do for us to have more success at rushing the passer in 2025? But with that being said, I have a lot more content coming for you guys. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up, be blessed. Peace.